Episode 74. Is he gone? Tan Hua peeked her head from the bushes, trying to see if Lan Yanjin was really gone with just one simple message from her. He's gone. Now we have to go back to the entrance before Lan Yanjin arrives there. Nan Shen carefully dragged Tan Hua out from the bushes. He quickly cleaned his clothes after noticing he had leaves all over them. Huh? Go back to the entrance? But what about the maze? Tan Hua's eyes dimmed, and she lowered her head dejectedly. Even though she didn't want to explore the maze with Lan Yanjin, since Nan Shen was here, she wanted to explore it with him. Are you stupid? Lan Yanjin obviously went the right way this time. If we want to get out, we have to follow the same path. But this means we won't arrive faster than Lan Yanjin. Won't that guy be suspicious seeing you come out of the maze? Nan Shen knocked Tan Hua's head as he glared at her, as if glaring at a super naive child who only wanted a treat. But then the maze. Tan Hua's eyes got teary as she looked at Nan Shen. She ended up in this situation because of him, right? She didn't want to be with Lan Yanjin, but exploring the maze alone seemed fun. Not to mention, Nan Shen was here. Why couldn't they explore the maze together? Just leave Lan Yanjin alone. We'll go back to the entrance. Nan Shen paused for a moment before grabbing Tan Hua's wrist and leading her back along the path they had passed before. That was the fastest way to the entrance of the maze, after all. The man looked a bit guilty when he saw Tan Hua's puppy eyes expression. But still, he knew he had to separate Lan Yanjin and Tan Hua. That was the only reason he was here. It wasn't like he wanted to explore the maze with Tan Hua, he just couldn't. Nan Shen purposely looked away from Tan Hua, unable to stay firm in his decision, as the girl used her strong emotional pull to melt his heart. He was always weak to her pitiful face. Wait. But Tan Hua's heart beat faster when Nan Shen casually took her hand by the wrist and started to guide her. It had been a long time since Nan Shen had held her hand, but she still wanted to explore the maze. When would she get the chance to go here with Nan Shen again in the future? If you want to explore the maze, we can come back here in the future. Just not with Lan Yanjin. Nan Shen didn't know what possessed him until he blurted out this promise so suddenly. Nan Shen's ears turned red when he realized what he had said was basically asking the girl to come back here with him in the future. Oh my god, this was bad. No. He definitely had gone insane. Don't tell him he secretly hoped to explore the maze with this girl? No. That would never happen, not until he recovered all his memories. It was impossible for him to fall for a girl like this. Just impossible. Yet, Nan Shen forgot the saying, there is nothing impossible in this world. Tan Hua's heart skipped a beat when Nan Shen said those words. She had a feeling that Nan Shen was slowly falling for her, and now he said this. She really did have a chance. Tan Hua grinned from ear to ear as she followed Nan Shen to the entrance of the maze. Of course, after leaving her there, the man didn't say anything before disappearing from the place. Tan Hua could only stare at his car as it drove away, while waiting for Lan Yanjin to come. Hotel. So, this is our hotel. Lan Yanjin actually wanted to bring Tan Hua to his house. But since the girl refused, he brought her to this hotel. Little did he know, 3 other people he knew well also stayed at this hotel. Your room is next to mine. You wait here. I'll go take our luggage. Lan Yanjin gave Tan Hua a key to her room as he kindly offered to get her luggage from the car. Of course, he could just ask the hotel staff to do that. But why would he miss a chance to show his persona as boyfriend material? I'll wait here. Tan Hua sat down on the sofa in the hotel lobby as she dazed off. She could still remember her short time with Nan Shen back in the maze. Nan Shen had said they could go back to the maze again in the future, just the 2 of them. Does this mean that guy has started to fall for her? Tan Hua's cheeks flushed red as she shut her eyes, feeling embarrassed for assuming something like this. She shouldn't be so quick to judge, but it was okay to hope that Nan Shen had begun to fall for her, right? Tan Hua was waiting patiently for Lan Yanjin to come back, when suddenly 3 people entered the hotel, talking to each other. Where were you? Mai Shu walked beside Nan Shen as she began asking him questions. She had to make sure this man didn't meet anyone while they were away for A-dates. Hampton Court Maze. How was your date? Nan Shen answered shortly before turning his head to Ren Yuan, who had somehow gotten left behind by Mai Shu. His feelings were confused whenever he spoke to Mi Shu now. Usually Mi Shu would always walk beside Ren Yuan, but why didn't she this time? Had they gotten into a fight? It's okay, Ren Yuan answered in a rather cold tone, but since he always acted like that, Nan Shen didn't think too much of it. Ren Yuan usually looked cold, so Nan Shen assumed he was just being himself, though Ren Yuan was actually in a bad mood. When he went on a date with Mai Shu, the girl suddenly asked him so many questions about Nan Shen, such as about his relationship with Tan Hua now, or his favorite food, etc. Why did he have a feeling that Miss Shu was interested in Nan Shen? No, that wasn't the problem. He couldn't feel the same connection he used to feel with Mi Shu. This all started when Mi Shu got a headache on the plan. Could it be? No, it was impossible for someone else to possess Miss Shu's body. Was she an imposter? But she had been her usual self before the headache. This was suspicious. Ren Yuan silently observed Mi Shu, who stuck to Nan Shen like glue. Indeed, he couldn't recognize the girl in front of him. That girl. She wasn't Mi Shu. His Mi Shu wouldn't act like this. Who was the girl with Mi Shu's appearance? An imposter, or... While Ren Yuan was thinking, Nan Shen was trying hard to shake off Mi Shu. He got goosebumps every time Mi Shu tried to hug his arm. What was wrong with Mi Shu today? It was as if she wasn't the usual Mi Shu. Just when Nan Shen was trying to figure out how to shake off this strange Mi Shu, he suddenly noticed someone he knew from the corner of his eye. Isn't that Tan Hua? Nan Shen's face brightened when he saw Tan Hua was also looking at him. Is this fate? They ended up in the same hotel. Wait. He was only happy because he could finally have an excuse. It's not because he saw Tan Hua here, right? It wasn't like that. Tan Hua. Nan Shen happily pushed aside Mi Shu and ran toward Tan Hua with a smile on his face. Nan Shen was still smiling until his smile froze when he saw Tan Hua glaring at him. What? Why was Tan Hua glaring at him? He hadn't done anything. Oh, hello. We meet again, Tan Hua forced a smile as she said the word again with more emphasis. She glanced at Mi Shu, who was squinting her eyes while standing behind Nan Shen, and couldn't help but feel a strange sensation. Is that Mi Shu? It had been a while since she last met her, and how had she changed so much? Was it only her imagination that she saw Mi Shu trying to get Nan Shen's attention? No, it couldn't be. Mi Shu loved Ren Yuan, and Tan Hua knew that more than anyone. It was impossible for Mi Shu to suddenly pick Nan Shen over Ren Yuan. It wasn't in the original plot. Right? Tan Hua's heart suddenly ached as she recalled how the original story had changed with her arrival. How could she still be so sure that Mi Shu would choose Ren Yuan over Nan Shen? Hey, are you okay? Nan Shen didn't know why, but when he saw Tan Hua's face suddenly become a little gloomy, he felt an urge to hug her and cheer her up, to see her cheerful smile again. Okay, he admits it. He kind of liked this girl's smiling face, not her gloomy face like now. What happened to her? She suddenly looked sad. Yeah, I'm okay. Tan Hua snapped out of her thoughts as she stood up from her seat. She quickly approached Mi Shu with a bright smile on her face. Long time no see. Tan Hua hugged Mi Shu while cheerfully greeting her. But Mi Shu herself had her lips twitch from annoyance. She knew that this body was best friends with that mob character, but still. This mob character, who should be dead, turned out to be a girl, not a boy. Not to mention that she was Nan Shen's girlfriend before he lost his memories. Just what happened to the original story plot? Yeah. Long time no see. Mi Shu squeezed out a reluctant smile as a response. She patted Tan Hua's back and didn't wait until Tan Hua released her arm before she herself stepped away from the hug. Huh? Tan Hua's body stiffened when Mi Shu created a little distance between them. She even went as far as stopping the hug. What's this feeling she felt? Is this real? Somehow. She felt that Mi Shu doesn't like her? I'm tired, so... Seeing Tan Hua's shocked face, Mi Shu quickly made an excuse. She felt disgusted by the sight of this cannon fodder, but in order for her secret not to be discovered by others, she had to pretend. This cannon fodder really is annoying. Acting all close to Nan Shen when she was a nobody. A cannon fodder should act as cannon fodder. Does she think she could charm Nan Shen with that kind of face? Compared to her face as the female lead. This cannon fodder is like earth compared to heaven. This girl should know her place. How dare she act so close with her? So annoying. How the hell did this body become best friends with this trash? Mi Shu looked down on Tan Hua in her heart, as well as doubting the original soul's mind for befriending someone like Tan Hua. But on the outside, she looked as kind as usual. She thought that no one would notice this, but a pity. Even Tan Hua had noticed something was wrong. A person's true character couldn't be hidden so well, no matter how hard they tried. Tan Hua only nodded and went back to sit on the sofa, furrowing her eyebrows. Just now, Mi Shu refused her hug. Usually it is Mi Shu who always runs to her and hugs her. What's wrong with Mi Shu today? She even looked at her with a strange expression, as if they were strangers. Nan Shen, who watched these two interact, couldn't help but also become suspicious. Just like he thought, Mishu also acted weird around Tan Hua. Well, whatever. His focus now isn't Mishu, but Tan Hua. He needed to make sure she didn't get too close to Lan Yanjin. Nan Shen was about to talk to Tan Hua again, when someone pushed him from behind, making him stumble and almost fall on the spot. Who the hell? Sorry, I didn't see you there. Lan Yanjin arrived with luggage in his hand. He smiled sweetly at Nan Shen, but his eyes didn't smile. It was an obvious mockery. You. Nan Shen wanted to kick Lan Yanjin, but for the sake of his image, he could only glare at the man. What a coincidence you are here too. Lan Yanjin laughed as he put the luggage beside the sofa. He finally realized that the phone call before was indeed only a bluff. The man himself was here in London, just like him. Just what had Nan Shen offered him that? It's obviously to show off. But now, he wasn't in the same party as Tan Hua. Just wait and see. I'm here for a business trip with them. Nan Shen gritted his teeth, not expecting to meet Lan Yanjin here. On one side, he was afraid the man would realize that he came here not for a business trip, but for Tan Hua. On the other side, seeing Lan Yanjin casually sit down beside Tan Hua, his heart felt hot like a fire burning. Good luck with your business then. Let's go, Tan Hua. Lan Yanjin had called the hotel staff to fetch their luggage, and very casually, the man grabbed Tan Hua's wrist while dragging her to leave Nan Shen's group behind. Well, see you later. Tan Hua was flustered, but she knew she wasn't in Nan Shen's group now, so she could only say goodbye to him as she followed Lan Yanjin to the elevator. Those two are dating? Just as Lan Yanjin and Tan Hua disappeared, Mai Shu suddenly spoke to no one, yet obviously, this sentence was directed to the man beside her, Nan Shen. Mai Shu's heart felt light seeing someone she didn't know take the mob character away. Even though that man was too good for a girl like Tan Hua, she still felt happy that no one would disturb her now. Nan Shen wouldn't care less about her ex-girlfriend going out with another man, right? This situation brings an advantage to her. No, they aren't. And never say that to my face again. Nan Shen glared at Mai Shu with a dark face before walking away, leaving the dumbfounded girl behind. What? What's with that reaction? If Nan Shen didn't care about that girl, why would he have had that reaction? Don't tell her. No, this can't be. She had to do something quickly. Mai Shu bit her nail as she watched Nan Shen disappear into his room. The girl then didn't wait for Ren Yuan and also left him, striding to her own room. A good thing that her room was right beside Nan Shen's room. Her room was basically between Nan Shen and Ren Yuan's room. Those two didn't want to sleep together in one room, so they booked separate rooms. Room 8080. Fu Tanhua placed her luggage and threw her body onto the bed, feeling complicated. She saw Mishu for the first time after a while. But why wasn't she as happy as before? It was as if Mishu had changed in such a short time. From her best friend to a stranger. After all, how could she suddenly release her hug? That's just weird. So when she saw Mishu cling to Nan Shen, could it be true? Tanhua's heart ached, thinking about this. She was calm now, because Mai Shu had already chosen Ren Yuan. This way, Nan Shen wouldn't end up with Mai Shu. But what if Mishu chooses Nan Shen now? Nan Shen did love her, but he lost his memories, right? What if... No, she had to stop thinking about this. Just now, she had an idea to trigger Nan Shen's memories back. Fortunately, she brought the item with her. Now she only needs to try. The one item Nan Shen had given her before he lost his memories was the ring he made for her. Because it's the last thing that connected the two of them, there might be a possibility that Nan Shen's memories would be triggered. Let's text him now. Tan Hua grabbed her phone and began to send a message to Nan Shen, hoping her plan would go well. She would leave this country tomorrow with Lan Yanjin. Yet she didn't know when Nan Shen would leave. She just couldn't leave Nan Shen and Mishu when Mishu was acting like that. She had to talk to Mishu too after she was done with this matter. Do you have free time tonight? Nan Shen had just finished taking a bath when he saw his phone screen blinking. It meant a new message had come. Business matter again? Nan Shen thought to himself. He couldn't help but frown as he approached the phone he left on the mirror table. He wanted to relax for a bit, but even when he was abroad he was still haunted by business, huh? Nan Shen was about to ignore the message and swipe the screen to pretend not to see it, when he noticed the sender wasn't Wad Yin, but Tan Hua. It's Tan Hua. Nan Shen quickly opened the message, and when he read it, he almost choked on his own saliva. Why did this message sound like something a little too personal? I'm free. What's wrong? Nan Shen was indeed free, and since it was Tan Hua asking him, he replied without waiting any longer. Can I come to your room? At 7 p.m. after dinner. Tan Hua gulped nervously, thinking that she might have made a mistake by asking this. She should have asked to meet him in the garden or maybe the lobby, but this was a private matter. Well, visiting a man's room at night would seem ambiguous though. What? Nan Shen almost dropped his phone when he saw the message. If his thoughts earlier were personal, then this time, the message made him think in a wrong way. What is her business until she wants to come to his room at night? Don't tell him this is her last effort to get close to him? Well, the deadline for their bet was next month, so it could be. Should he allow it, or? But she might have important business to talk about. Still, he can't see her just inviting him to a bar or something. This is too ambiguous. Sure, but what business? Nan Shen didn't want to make assumptions, so while he agreed, he asked what Tan Hua's business with him was. Nothing. You'll know when the time comes. Tan Hua sighed in relief as she sent her last message. She didn't want to tell Nan Shen right away in case he didn't want to see the ring anymore. He might think she was trying to make him reminisce or just make him feel guilty. That man might run away. See you tonight then. Nan Shen didn't realize that he was grinning from ear to ear after reading the last message. The man put down his phone and looked at the clock on the wall, seeing he had 2 more hours to prepare before Tan Hua came. Let's eat dinner first. Meanwhile, Mi Shu, who was resting in the room next to Nan Shen's, was also planning something. She planned to go visit Nan Shen's room after dinner, around 7 p.m. She had to make sure that Nan Shen didn't have any relationship with that cannon fodder anymore. 6:30 p.m. Nan Shen stood in front of the mirror in his room as he combed his hair neatly. He had just finished dinner and was now waiting for Tan Hua to come. Wait, why did he comb his hair? It's just Tan Hua visiting his room. Nan Shen threw the comb in his hand onto the table as he grumbled to himself. He looked down to see that he was also wearing a new shirt along with the pants. Of course, all of them were products from Louvre brand. What the? Nan Shen exclaimed, realizing that he was wearing good and neat clothes when he actually didn't have to do that. He looked as if he was about to attend a fancy dinner somewhere. Nan Shen sighed, looking at his reflection in the mirror. He certainly looked handsome and dashing as usual, but it was too much when he wouldn't even step out of the room. Would Tan Hua frown when she saw him in this appearance? He looked so unnatural. Nan Shen paused for a bit before rummaging through his luggage. He didn't need to dress up this neatly just because Tan Hua was going to visit his room. It would look unnatural, so he decided to go with casual clothes or maybe pajamas? Nan Shen picked up a simple white shirt with a big L symbol in the middle from his suitcase. He also chose black knee-length jeans and immediately took off his clothes so he could change into this new set of clothes. 6:50 p.m. Nan Shen had just finished changing into the new clothes and made his hair a bit messy to look natural, when suddenly he heard a bell ringing throughout his room. Ting-tong. The bell was clearly his room's bell. Someone had pressed the bell. Nan Shen looked at his wristwatch and saw it was already 6:50 p.m., almost 7 p.m. Then the one pressing the bell in front of his room. It must be Tan Hua. She sure was early, wasn't she? Wait, Nan Shen approached the door with a big smile on his face, not even realizing it. He gulped his saliva nervously before slowly opening the lock on his door. You sure are early, T, huh? Nan Shen grinned when he opened the door. But then his smile froze when he saw that the person standing in front of his door wasn't Tan Hua like he thought, but Mi Shu instead. Hi, Mi Shu flashed a smile as she waved her hand toward Nan Shen. The girl leaned toward Nan Shen, wanting to come into his room, but Nan Shen quickly blocked her way. Wait, what are you doing here? Nan Shen scanned Mi Shu from head to toe and couldn't help but furrow his eyebrows. What kind of clothes was Mi Shu wearing now? It was so inappropriate. Mi Shu was surprisingly wearing a red tank top with super short jeans, coupled with red high heels. The crop of her tank top was low, revealing her chest a little whenever she lowered her body, even for just a bit. I can't come here if I don't have business with you? Mi Shu lowered her eyes, looking dejected as she looked up again at Nan Shen with pitiful eyes. No, but it isn't good for a woman with a boyfriend to come to another man's room at night wearing those kinds of clothes. Nan Shen crossed his arms in front of his chest as he stood still. He hadn't allowed Mi Shu to come inside. The truth is, I had a fight with Ren Yuan, and so I came here to ask you what Ren Yuan might like. I want to do something nice for him, and since you know him well hearing Nan Shen's words, Mi Shu lowered her head and fidgeted as she let out the flawless excuse she had made on the spot. She didn't expect this man to be so guarded against her. Well, you can come in to discuss it with me, but don't close the door. Nan Shen sighed when Ren Yuan's name was mentioned. Indeed, he had seen Ren Yuan and Mi Shu looking awkward earlier, so he quickly believed Mi Shu. Still, he left the door open in case the girl did something once they were alone in a closed room. This way, Ren Yuan wouldn't be able to pick fault with him. All right. Mi Shu happily followed Nan Shen, and when she came inside, she boldly sat down on Nan Shen's bed, right beside him, who had already sat down before her. Now be quick. I have an appointment with someone in 10 minutes. Nan Shen spoke in a cold tone, feeling impatient. Tan Hua would be here shortly. What if she misunderstood this? Nan Shen quickly moved his body away from Mi Shu, realizing that the girl had sat so close to him. But a pity. The girl kept following him so she could sit closer to him. Well, Mi Shu glanced around and suddenly pulled on Nan Shen's shirt. And before Nan Shen could push her away, she gently kissed him. Very unfortunately, a few seconds before this happened, Tan Hua had just arrived in front of Nan Shen's room. A few seconds ago, Tan Hua had just arrived in front of Nan Shen's room. She saw the door was open and couldn't help but feel curious. Why would Nan Shen open the door? Well, it wasn't her business. Her focus now wasn't the door, but the thing in her hand. Tan Hua had a plan tonight. She intended to trigger Nan Shen's memories with the ring he had sent her before he lost his memories. It was fortunate that she discovered this plan, and very coincidentally, she had also brought the ring with her to London. Now, if Nan Shen saw this ring, he might recover his memories and admit that he loved her. She had a feeling that Nan Shen had slowly fallen for her again. If he recovered his memories, that would be perfect. Nan Shen Tan Hua cheerfully opened the door wide as she stepped inside. She was about to call Nan Shen and show him the ring inside the red small box in her hand, when her body froze, seeing what was happening right in front of her eyes. What are you doing? Nan Shen pushed Mi Shu away with all his strength, making the girl fall back onto the bed. Nan Shen quickly stood up and backed away with an extremely dark face. He furrowed his eyebrows and a light flashed through his eyes. The man gripped his fist tight as he glared at Mi Shu with a slightly red face, not out of embarrassment, but out of extreme anger. The man pursed his lips, creating an extremely disgusted expression on his face. While Nan Shen looked as if he was about to lose his temper, Mi Shu didn't say anything. She quietly stood up and was about to leave, as if she hadn't done anything wrong, when she saw Tan Hua with a pale face and trembling body near the door. Nan? Shen? Misha? As Nan Shen was about to push Mi Shu out of his room, and the girl was about to leave, Tan Hua murmured softly with an ashen face and trembling lips. The girl bit her lips until they were red, fresh blood flowing from her mouth. Her eyes wavered as tears began to fill her hazel eyes. Her body, from her shoulders to her legs, was trembling non-stop, and both of her palms were balled into fists. What did she just see? Mi Shu kissed Nan Shen on his lips. Did she visit Nan Shen's room at this time? Tan Hua, seeing Tan Hua with tears wetting her cheeks, Nan Shen went stiff. He wanted to say something, but his tongue wouldn't move. The words were stuck in his throat just by seeing Tan Hua's tears, and the blood coming from her biting her lips too hard.